College admission in India can be a challenging process, but with the right guidance and preparation, it can also be a rewarding and empowering experience. This webinar, brought to you by Samhita Academy in collaboration with Mindler, is designed to help you navigate this journey with confidence. Today, we will give you the key aspects of Indian college admission, including effective career planning, building a strong resume, mastering the interview techniques and strategies for excelling in entrance exams. So get ready to take notes, ask questions, and engage in with our experts. My name is Nasreen. I am from Team Mindler. I work here as a senior manager, client success and growth. And today we have Mr. Abhishek Gulati, who will be taking up the session. Before we start, I'll give you a short brief about him. Mr. Abhishek Gulati is a growth strategist who leads the global education vertical at Mindler and mentors students to help actualize the dream of an Ivy League education. He is an alumnus of University College London with exchange credential at the London School of Economics and HEC Paris. So without wasting much time, I would hand over the space to Mr. Abhishek. And again, a very warm welcome to all the parents. In case if you have any doubts, any questions, you please feel free to type it down on the chat box and we will take up questions. And yes, I hope we are able to give you the best information with this webinar. Over to you, Abhishek.
Wonderful, Nasreen. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I want to quickly check before I begin how many parents are here. I see the 10, 11 total people present on the webinar. Can you quickly write in the chat box? That also will confirm I'm visible and audible for everyone. You can just mention if you're a parent here in the chat box. So you can mention parent, student, and no parent. Wonderful. 2,
Lovely.
3, 4.
Okay, there's one student and rest all I think are the parents.
Good. Athira has also joined. Excellent.
Okay, great. So parent and students are also there. Great.
Wonderful. I really wish the number increases, and I would request students to reach out to their friends. Parents, I'll give you a context. I think all these, at least the class 12s, I met several times this year, so has the team. So I think we have spoken to them about this. In fact, I was there just last month and spoke to them about Indian applications, but it is great that parents are here. So what I'll try and do is give you quick context about how Indian applications work. And because it's a small group, I will be very happy to address any questions you have and guide you accordingly and how we can offer you support wherever necessary. Historically speaking, when we used to look at applications in India or college admissions in India, I'll give you a lesson in history. When all the parents here, I'm assuming you all must have gone to college starting 2000, 98, 2000s. I hope that's the correct assumption. We have young parents here. Around 60% of colleges in India used to give admissions based purely on entrance exams. And the remaining 40% colleges in India gave admissions purely on your board merit. The marks you submitted the scores, you got admissions. 10 years ago, when possibly I was looking at going to college, this changed dramatically. How? Because we had around 50% colleges still taking admission based on entrances, 35% colleges giving something called profile-based admissions in terms of your curriculars, extracurriculars, whatever Nasreen was mentioning about the entire process, which I'll speak about as well in detail. And the remaining 5-10% colleges are giving admission based on merit, right? When I look at today, the scenario is very different. I have only 4 or 5% colleges in India giving admission based on pure board merit. There's still 50% colleges, 60% colleges giving admission based on entrance. And a lot of colleges today, the new age colleges are giving admission based on profile. So if your kid is only getting 95%, he or she's not getting into the best colleges just based on that. Second, if you're thinking I'll crack entrance is great, but what if entrances don't work out for you and also we don't get the right marks, but your students have a very holistic profile in terms of they have very strong curriculars, activities, internships, projects, research work done that can also help them get to the best schools possible. So that is the idea. Also, there's a very wrong assumption I realized talking to kids in Samhita or any other schools for that matter in the country, that admissions can happen after both. I'm very sorry to break it to you. Admissions open in the months of July and August in India. So for the current class 12 batch, I know so many kids in the same batch in class 12 who have already done their admissions and submitted applications. I'm not talking about universities abroad. I'm referring to universities in India. So if you're looking at students going to the best schools in India, applications don't start after boards. Around 60% colleges will be done with their admission process, at least the first few rounds before the kids sit for board exams. And if these kids wake up after boards, you would have lost the bus. So that is why we're here encouraging you to understand what kind of colleges and how can we go about it. Wherever you have a question, you can use the chat box. I'll be very happy to address any questions you have. Right? Wonderful. So when we look at college applications in India, just to give you an idea, right? We have to also be mindful of application timelines. Now, if you look at the Mindler portal and you go check out the college roadmap, exam corner, you have deadlines given, and also the team keeps sending weekly newsletters to the schools, which I think are shared with all the class 12s either way, which basically keeps telling you what applications, what exam dates are open. So there is no chance that any student is missing out. If parents, you don't have access to it, please check with your board, check with them that are they updating you. Every single kid at this point of time should have an application tracker made. Their application tracker should have college deadlines, list of colleges they're applying to, what all needs to be done, requirements, eligibility, every single thing. There is no excuse for this. They should be having a table, Excel sheet, diary, anything or everything, right? You should be already creating your application portals. Majority of the new age universities in India have already opened their accounts. I can name a few: Ashoka, Flame, Azim Premji. Azim Premji might open later this month. Ahmedabad opens on 18th. Shiv Nadar, Plakshat, Harper. All these major schools have already opened, and the team can add few other schools that have opened applications. So you need to be mindful of the fact while we are sitting and working on our board exams or entrance exams, don't forget college application portals are open. They are updating you regularly. The good part about registering for colleges is that you keep getting notifications and emails. So any update, any webinars by universities happening, you don't miss out. All my kids who have finished applications, they are still attending webinars to get interview tips. And from the universities they're supposed to go to. Please understand, parents, universities also are trying to get the best students in. So they want to educate you about the space. Correct? And we are anyways here, but make sure we do this. This is the bare minimum any and every kid should be doing. This is non-negotiable, right? Just to give you an idea, what are the new age universities and how do they change and why are they important? Conventionally speaking, we have been doing the same curriculum for the longest time, working very well. But what is happening is with the change in demand and change in careers today, we also have to find a newer approach of studying. Any and every university that I'm speaking to today, they are figuring out a better way of educating kids because the industry demand is such. If you're not adapting, your students are going to be left behind. That is why universities are very particular that any and everyone who's getting in needs to be able to get exposure, is more driven towards the tech focused careers. Even if I'm a student in political science or economics or humanities, how do I understand and interpret changes happening? We've recently had the much spoken about US elections. If you look at the mandate, what they are trying to encourage is how are students preparing for the future, right? So the programs that are made are new age in the real sense. It's not a fancy term they start using. They're more specialized, more driven. I'm very happy to give you examples. Let's say today I'm somebody who wants to study data and business. A university like Plaksha offers a BSc program, a BTech program in data science, business, and economics. And the best part, I don't have to come from a science background. I only need maths as an eligibility, right? I want to study astrophysics with another subject. Harper has a fabulous BSc program offered in the liberal arts school where BSc astrophysics can be studied. Now, tomorrow I want to go and work at SpaceX and make policies for them. I want to work at ISRO and NASA in different capacities. You have these very interesting programs, right? You want to go and study finance and economics. You want to study economics, political science, and entrepreneur economics, pol science, and philosophy, which is a flagship program at Oxford, is also being offered at a university like Ashoka, right? Flame University this year very interestingly said, listen, design should not be taught in the most conventional way. We'll merge design with any and every course you like. Design and psychology. I want to study design and literature together. I want to be a visual artist. So find ways to combine this. And if you already have made a choice, it doesn't hurt to figure out more options. I'm assuming some of the parents I would have personally met when we had the one-on-ones, and you know what I'm talking about, right? This is something that we're trying to educate kids, and it only gets better for us. It's a new learning every single day for us. We have a university called Scalar, which is building just tech-driven, future-centric programs. If you want to be a startup founder, if you want to build something in the tech space or just business space, you get to learn from the people who have been there, done that. Correct? So the approach is very, very different. And I can keep giving examples from any and every university, but the idea is that if you look at Bangalore right here, they have a program in environment and sustainability at Azim Premji University. right? So all these schools that we're talking about have a unique range of programs. Don't be stuck on those two, three universities. I rather apply to more universities, get better exposure, right? Some of the key things that you should look at is experiential learning. Are we only looking at studying in the books, learning from academics, or do you have more exposure, hands-on opportunities to work on projects? So many universities have tied up with startup hubs, corporates to give you simulations, virtual exposure, and we work with so many students. I've been meeting these students whenever I go to universities, and my feedback comes from kids. I don't trust any except students because they are the ones learning this. And if they end up telling me that, oh, I'm actually benefiting from this program, that's what matters to me, right? Okay. Um, Now, when I talk about admissions, because you're in 12th, so I want to focus directly on applications. One of the core elements for any and every application will be your extracurriculars and activity scripters. You need to be able to showcase to university that you're passionate about something. Now, you can't say that, listen, I am a cricketer if I played one match in my life. I'm sorry. And if you play at home with your friends, great. That's a good thing to do, but that's not passion about the sport. What level have you done something, right? Have you been a dancer? How many years? How many competitions? You're an artist. Tell me, what kind of sketching can you do? Any of the parents here, I'll ask a simple question. How many forms of sketching do you know? Give me a number. Random GK question. How many forms of sketching do you know? And in case you're wondering, sketching is sketching. That's the question I'm talking about. Anyone who here is an artist, any of the students or parents, you can still write the answer. That's fine. 3, 4, 5, 7. How many forms of sketching are you aware of? Don't Google or try use ChatGPT for this. Okay, this is also my way of checking if everybody slept or are they here. Parents, it's okay if the answer is wrong. At least I'll know. No idea. No worries. Others? Okay, parents are not replying. It's okay. Parents, you can give a wrong answer also. That's fine. Otherwise, I'm going to put 3. Okay, great. Thank you so much to the parent who replied. But on aggregate, 14 commonly known forms of sketching. Now imagine you apply to university, say that I'm a sketch artist, and in the interview they're asking you how many forms of sketch do you know, and you're like, oh, that's a question I did not know. So to realize these things are important, right? How are you engaging with the purpose? Are you participating in community projects? Are you building something? What have you done? What has been the impact? Just before getting on this webinar, I was talking to a student of mine who was in 7 community projects. She's like, sir, how do I showcase a common impact? The problem she has is that she's 7 community projects. She doesn't know which one to put across because university has limited space. That's a very good problem to have, right? So try and understand. Activity scripter is my way of saying how do you align this. Every university has a different mandate of looking at activities. Flame University doesn't have a word limit. Ashoka has a particular word limit and sections given for that. Thapar just allows you to upload activities. So very different. So you have to try and understand. But if you have a common document for your activities, very easy to change it. I'll give you another hack. You can literally put these things together and then look at applications and just make changes wherever necessary. Write a common document for your activities. Simple as that. If I know how to write 100 words, I can write 20 words out of it as well. Not difficult. Correct? Beyond that, of course, what all goes into applications, one of the core elements is also essays. Now, certain universities are going to give you topics, they're going to give you options. Some of the topics are going to be compulsory depending on the school. So I have given you both the options. But what is the important thing is, if you're choosing a topic out of 2 or 3 given topics, pick up a topic that's personal to you or you relate to that. Think of yourself, and parents, you can of course talk to kids here, but this becomes very tricky. Most of the kids end up like, I was talking to a couple of kids, Samhita, when I went recently. Their stories are very similar. Oh, I come from school in Bangalore, this is a challenge I'm addressing, but that's copy paste. Even though you're not copying, you have a similar story. You have to understand that is where you need a third person's perspective to guide you. That's where coaches come in, because we have been reading so many essays. Like I've read 25 essays for a particular school. I know that this essay won't work because everybody's writing this. You think this is the best story possible? I'm very sorry. I'll give you a recent example of a student who was like, listen, the biggest challenge I faced in my life is that During COVID, I was not able to go out and play with my friends. Now that shows you come from privilege. What about a student who did not have access to anything and lost people during COVID, right? That's a strange example, but people are still talking about it. So to realize your story might not be the best story considering I'm competing with people around the country, right? So you need a third person's perspective to do that. Other bit is, are you telling your story or are you telling me somebody else's? For example, if you write an essay and you read it and you think this can work for my friend, this is not your story. Your story cannot work for any or everyone. Even if 300 words or 400 are same, those 100 words are supposed to tell your narrative, right? Is it about your parents, your values, how you've grown up, what your family considers important, what you consider important, right? So all these factors matter a lot. What book would you recommend and why? That cannot be done with anybody, right? If five kids are writing Harry Potter, the reasons of writing Harry Potter can be very different. I'll give you an example. 4 years ago, this university asked kids to share name of books, and this boy had written five Harry Potter parts, and the interview question was, "Tell me why did you not choose the other three?" Right? And the person was like, "How do I answer this?" But that is the point. You would have had a reason to choose five. It can't be random. So these applications seem very simple. They are not, right? And of course, feedback never hurts, and feedback should be non-biased, right? Because it's my son or daughter, I can't give them the best feedback possible. I'll always come from a place of bias. Beyond that, just to give you a summary, what is important? Oh, every single university that we're talking about has an interview, 90% of them, and few things that we need to keep in mind. And I'm sorry, you can't start preparing for the interview one day before. This has to start now. All my students we are working with, we are preparing for the interviews for the last 6 months, because I know one day I can wake up and show up, but this is not going to work, right? Most important parts, research the university in and out, because if you don't, there is no way for you to be able to go and talk about the university, and that shows you're prepared, right? Scan through the website, look at their Instagram page, look at the website, talk to alum. That is the level of research I want you to do. If possible, go visit a campus with your parents, right? Practice your responses as many times as possible. Go and record it in front of a screen. And now that I can take feedback, right? um, I don't think talking to a mirror helps, because a lot of these interviews happen virtually on a screen. I would say record yourself and look at yourself, how the answers are coming across. Do you feel nervous talking to a screen? Certain interviews you get pre-recorded questions. You're not even talking to a person, and that becomes very tricky even for me. So practice as much as you can. You can't go wrong with that. Um, don't try and pretend to be someone else. I know I don't need students to do things that they're not supposed to do, or act because I feel this person speaks a certain way or I like a celebrity. Don't do that. So these are very small things that you can start doing right away. Um, of course, every single school has a test assessment. Some of them are easier than the rest, but you need to still practice. You need to still prepare. First thing will be look at the format. I would say before you go to a coaching center, see what is asked. If you like the pattern and that's okay with you, just get the material and practice. If you feel I need coaching, go to tutors and ask them, can you prepare me for certain areas? Because I'll give you a simple idea. Most papers that I'm talking about will have English and verbal skills, quantitative reasoning, that's maths till class 10th, GK in certain areas, reading comprehension, that's it. And these are not rocket science areas. You've been doing this. And if you're already doing preparation for a test prep in India, that already works. I think format is very important. Most kids don't understand the format. Last year, I had a kid who did not know this test is 2 hours. He thought it's 3.5 hours, couldn't finish it on time. Things didn't work out. Test day pressure. I think everybody keeps telling you about it. I don't want to jump into that. But these small habits you need to start curating for yourself to be able to ace these universities. Um, Of course, before I get into answering questions and telling more about it, what I wanted to understand is this is not the most difficult process, but it does require certain handholding. Also, this process can go on from now till the time your kids are off to college at 6, 7 months from now. So, if it's possible to keep it structured and get a guiding hand, that will be very important, right? Before I jump into things and talk further, I would love to answer any specific questions you have, because it's a small group. I can actually address any specific question you have about applications in India. Parents, you can go ahead and drop a text in the chat box. I'll be very happy to address questions. Urvi, they have a chance to unmute.
That is what I was asking.
Yes,
Have a
if
smaller group.
anyone,
Yeah, I
Can we
would say even
mute?
better. You can actually unmute and like I can answer the questions for you.
if
Sure.
anyone has any question, they can raise their hands and we can give them the option to unmute and ask a
Yeah,
question.
even better. I can actually, parents, students, if you still have any particular questions specific, I would really like to address those because I don't think when are we going to connect next.
Is coaching compulsory for entrance exam? Is the question from Harithu.
And also, can you please, okay, Athira, no, I think if you attended my webinars, I would have mentioned this to you. Coaching is not necessary. What exams are you thinking about, Athira? Can you please confirm once? I'll be able to give you more direct advice. Can you unmute and tell me? Athira, okay, first of all, coming to my point, what do you want to study? This is a very good example. What,
I want to study BBA.
yeah, wonderful. What colleges will you get? And do you have maths?
No, I'm not a math student.
Wonderful. Tell me what colleges open up for you for BBA after CUET without maths. Please name five.
I saw there's Christ, there's Symbiosis, and
1 second. CUET, Christ is taking their own exam. Since when is Christ accepting CUET?
that's what I saw in like online.
Ma'am, Christ University entrance test is also called CUET.
Oh, okay.
No, 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 not okay. I'm sorry. Ma'am, you're caught here now. You've attended my webinar, you were sleeping. Wait, Athira? No, no, I'm kidding. Symbiosis has their own exam.
Yeah,
NMS is their own exam.
SCT.
So I'll tell you, give you an idea. No, so if I don't have mathematics, Symbiosis, Christ, Ahmedabad, Flame, all these universities you're eligible for, but they have their own exams.
Huh.
You get my point? And by the time these universities admissions are closed, CUT wouldn't have happened. So you can give CUT later as well, but I would rather pick up these universities. Also, if you want to apply to these schools, coaching is not mandatory, right? If you want to get material, you can look at Pratham Online, Career Launcher, and buy books. Just 3,000-4,000 buy books and materials, and that's it. So
Okay.
coaching is not mandatory. Be good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but the general CUT paper is not supposed to be given for you.
Yeah, so I'll just have to give different entrance exams for different
Absolutely.
universities, right?
So I'll
Okay.
give you schools now. So we can for BBA we can look at Flame, Harper, um, we can look at Christ, Symbiosis, few courses in NMIMS, branding, advertising, international business, family business entrepreneurship is eligible. Gen, Bangalore. What else can we look at? Yeah, these are all BBA schools, good schools you can consider. Kriya has a business minor as well.
Okay, thank you.
Most welcome. Okay. Parents, do you have any questions? Anything I can help you with? Any doubts? Okay, how does? So the interviews, to be honest, if it's a student or parent, are not that technical. It's just knowledge about a basic domain, right? Plaksha interviews I've never found complicated because, like last year, I've 5 or 6 kids who got in through the interview. 4 of them joined the school, but whatever I heard from them, the interviews are very. If you know your domain well, what they want to understand is, are you aware of what you want willing to study? Like, have you seen through the domain properly? So it's not too complicated. Pranav, for this, you can reach out. We can help you block a personal session if you want to understand about NEET and JEE. We are addressing particular colleges with their applications. NEET JEE is not the part of this. In fact, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Your backups need to be done if you're doing NEET and JEE. Okay, in the meanwhile, you ask questions. I just want to share something, and Urvi, you can, and Ashwin, you can add if there's anything. See, the idea is so many queries that are coming across from your school as well, and so many kids I personally met and parents. In case you need support for the Indian application review, you want help with the forms, essay review, and just guidance overall, so that somebody is there to help you till the time you're done. Just to give you an overview of what we're doing, we also have a program which you shared with the school, right? Urvi, can we share the details here as well? We can put the link. And parents, it's a very simple initiative we have taken, and your school has been kind enough to say that, listen, you can help out the kids and you can go through that. It's a very simple format where there's somebody helping you with the forms and everything and giving you the due information. The idea is you don't miss out, right? A small mistake can cost you an application, and maybe you get a chance to get, to the best schools possible. So why miss out? It's just that somebody is there to support you, like we're sitting here. So in case you're looking at applying to any of the schools you're looking at and apply for backups, you must consider taking up the program, and somebody will be there to support you throughout the process. And if you need further guidance and need complete handholding, I think I've spoken to a few parents here as well, then we are very happy to work with you end to end in terms of essay support, interview preparation. That also can be done, right? So whatever requirement you may have and whatever support you need, team is definitely there to guide you. And this is something that we're doing it for, of course, the schools we work with, because that's where our first priorities always are. So you can copy paste the link that Ms. Urvi has shared. Yes. And you can download the document and you can keep it handy. And any queries you have about this, you can reach out to the team.
Yes, the document has all the details about the program and what it will cover. It has a direct payment link. It's at a very nominal cost for all our school, for all our partnered schools, for them. And the details are already mentioned there. You can go through that. There is a form if you want to enroll and further get more details and have a discussion. You can always fill in your form. Once we get your request, our team will reach out and will speak to you, and then you can decide on enrolling. So all the details have been put in the chat box.
There's a question, can you refer some books or online sources for the preparation of the entrance exams?
I've mentioned you can look at Pratham Online Career Launcher. They have bundle of resources. They charge between 3,000 to 6,000. You can just buy those if you need. But again, when we are working with you, somebody's guiding with the forms and everything, they'll guide you about the resources as well. That is the entire idea. But I think if you want to start already, that is the resource you can use. They have the curated resource. You can give them a call and tell them, I want to do these exams. Can I just get the books? They'll help you with that.
Right, students and parents, I hope all our queries are resolved. If there are further queries, I know this is a very crucial phase of the student's life, especially moving from a school environment where they have studied the all, 12 years, they have spent all their 12 years of their journey. And now they are stepping into the university where they will be getting exposed to much more competitive environment. So if you still have any further questions on, kind of securing the best college for yourself, please do feel free to type it down on the chat box so that we can help you with that. Any questions in regards to entrance exams or maybe application process, or what kind of profiles do they need? Anything. I think we have covered most of it, and also Abhishek sir has beautifully explained about the different processes that are involved in the college application. So yes, about the resume making, profile building, anything. Okay.
Is there no other questions? How come?
I think all the
It-
questions are resolved. In case if you still further have any doubts, please feel free to fill up the form. Maybe we can reach out to you. And okay, Sairam. Yes. Any questions from you, Sairam? Okay.
You can also reach out on on these numbers also, and you'll get all the information.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Urvi, for sharing that. What is micro presentation?
Oh, macro presentations, IRAM is for Christ University. They basically give you a topic and you have to speak for 90 seconds, if I'm right. Yes. So you get a topic and you have to just speak about it, but that will also come from practice. But topics are usually not too difficult. In fact, they have given you a lot of topics to practice as well online. That's a common feature of Christ University, but they don't have it for all the courses. Business in particular and a few others, yes. I don't think any other university has micro presentations now. Even Christ also last year, I don't know how many kids did it, very few.
Okay, great. So parents, students, when you ask the questions, maybe the other parents and students, they don't have these questions in their mind. And when you ask this question, this also gets clarified to them. So it will be great if you can share whatever queries you have. There is no such restriction from our end for you to ask the questions. It can be anything.
See, the idea
It
behind
can be
this,
the silly question.
the
Yeah.
idea behind doing it, particularly for Samhita, is because we met the kids, we met most of the parents here. So we know you. That's the idea we're sitting here. But anything you have in mind, that's why we have the time. And you can, of course, feel free to reach out for beyond this as well. But anything that comes to your mind, any last questions that you might have, please feel free to ask. Parents, you can unmute as well. That'll be much easier. You can just raise your hand, the team will help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think during the one-on-one session, most of the queries were any which ways resolved by our team as well. There were two sessions, one-on-one sessions that were conducted for the students. One, I think, somewhat in April, and the other one in June, July, sometime. So I think most of the queries are resolved, but still, we conducted this webinar so that because just before the pre-boards, before, the students start applying for the college application, we are there to support you with any kind of, support you would need for your child. So this exclusive webinar was planned with that idea in mind that we can help you out with the, possible things that we can. Okay, so yes, I think we have covered everything. And with this, maybe we can wrap up with the session if we don't have any further questions.
Done. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. Good luck. Thank you, parents. We appreciate your time on a weekend. And I hope this helps. And anything you need, any support required, please reach out. Thank you so much.
You have our email ID also on the chat box. That's hello@mindler.com. And Urvi has also shared the WhatsApp number or call number also. In case if you still have some doubts, maybe not now, but maybe tomorrow or day after or anytime, you please feel free to type it down or type it to us on email or call us and WhatsApp us so that we can help you out with the queries. All right. And thank you so much for your time this evening. It was lovely connecting with you. Thank you for asking your queries and getting your queries resolved here and connecting with our career coach. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for sharing all the information with the parents and the students here. Thanks, Urvi, for all your support. And thanks, Ratik, also for being there all throughout the session and supporting us. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Welcome.
भाई एक सेकंड रुक जाओ ये तो चलो हो गया हाँ थैंक यू ये तो हो गया दूसरे वाले में क्या करना है उसमें रजिस्ट्रेशन हाँ जी
I removed. You are on mute already.
दूसरे में there are as of 1 hour back there were 189 registration.
आई नो कि रजिस्ट्रेशन होगा उसमें क्या करना है लाइक ऑफ कोर्स तो अभी आई स्पोक लेस आई स्पीक मोर इन लेंथ हमारे कौन सी यूनिवर्सिटीज ऑन बोर्ड है बताओगे एक बार
Flame,
Kriya.
Kreya,
आप
Thapar, Vidyashilp, स्केलर का
Yes.
तो अलग है वो तो एंट्रेंस एग्जाम वाला है फॉर एप्लीकेशंस I'll give you 1 minute एक मिनट मैं बता देती हूँ
Tomorrow we have one for Chintals as well.
चिंता
That's a nice
बना ले
thing.
रही है
उसमें
सना
लोग 5-6 लोग आएंगे इसमें भी कौन से आए हैं
इसमें तो फिर भी कौन था चिंतल तो मैं वो भी एक्सपेक्ट कर रही हूँ कविशा मैम इज काइंड ऑफ रनिंग आफ्टर एवरीवन्स लाइफ के मैंने बोल करके इनको संडे को सेशन रखवाया है प्लीज आ जाओ लेट्स सी
अरे नहीं ओपन वाला तो मैं कर दूंगा उसमें आज स्पीक ज्यादा
वी हैव
बोल
फ्लेम क्रेया थापर विद्याशिल्प अभी के लिए वो है प्लाक्षा स्टिल इन टॉक्स